perfect. Thank you.
So the next part of these are just photos, and I'm going to just briefly describe the photos so that as you put them up, you can
That'd
have
be
them.
great. Yeah.
So I have a group of photos that are going to be posted for you. The first one is a picture of the rape kit with all of the envelopes and boxes and such that goes in it. And you'll hear us talk about swab boxes. Those are these little things, and this is number one that it goes into, and so this can take 2 swabs. You write on it what it is, put a label on it, it goes into an envelope, the envelope then goes into the kit. And you'll see that on each of the envelopes it tells you what it is, trace debris, okay, in that particular case. The next photo is a picture of the drying box. The next photo is a picture of the Woods lamp that I talked about that we don't use very often anymore. However, there are times when, like I say, you may see a smaller area that's not up on training still using it. I wouldn't say anything about Woods lamp. You're not going to change their mind because that's what the protocol says.
And what is a Woods lamp?
A Woods lamp is an alternative light source.
Okay.
So there's the really big ones that the police use, and we have one that we get from Snohomish County Sheriff's if we actually need to use an alternative light source. So it's got a variety of band color spectrums, I guess. I'm not certain. It's not something that we do. The one that we currently have, and most ERs have, only have 2 bands of color. It will tell us that it's positive, but it won't tell us what it is. So just because we have a positive Woods lamp does not mean that it's semen, which is what the assumption used to be. Okay. The next one is a picture of pubic hair combing, which is not done routinely, hardly at all, unless there's a specific reason. The next one is a picture of swabbing an arm. So there may have been saliva, there may have been ejaculate, and we take 4 swabs. 2 of them are wet and 2 of them are dry. Usually we're going to get our biggest gain on the dry ones that are done last. Okay? Then there's a picture of a ceremonial taking our swabs and putting them into the swab box. The next picture is a picture of creative means of collecting things. So that's a Post-it note that we are collecting environmental debris, again, leaves, dirt, other things that are very small, and you take a Post-it note and you just press on an area where it is, and then you fold it in on itself. The adhesive that they use for Post-it notes does not degrade DNA or biological items. We will often do fingernail swabbings. We generally don't do cuttings anymore, and we generally don't take the orange stick that we used to use to scrape underneath. We do wet swabs on the fingernails, and then we may do another set for the palm, another set for here. It just depends, again, what the history is. And then the next photo is combing hair. So if there's debris in the hair, we will often give the comb to the patient, and you'll see that they are combing their hair over a special piece of paper. Then the comb and the paper and the debris are packaged up in what we call a bindle and placed in the evidence. On the next slide we swab the mouth, we're not just swabbing the tongue. You want to make sure that you're swabbing in what we call the buccal areas, or buccal, it depends on what part of the country y'all's from. On the sides, teeth, under the tongue, things like that. And then the last photo is a picture of the basic process for clothing. You're going to put it into a white bag. That white bag is then sealed, labeled, evidence marked, all that kind of stuff, and everything has an evidence seal on each part of it. And then it's placed into a brown paper bag because it's a thicker bag and less likely to rip or tear. Okay? Now, treatment that we do, that's a standard set of treatment, and Well, let me go backwards. So now we've done the history, we've done the physical, we've collected our forensics, and we're basically winding down the assessment. Treatment would be the next thing. There's a standard panel of labs. We're going to do a hepatitis panel. We're looking for hepatitis B. We want to be able to, if they are not immune to hepatitis B, that we give them their shot within 14 days. And that's just a normal, another vaccine. It's not what we call HBIG or immune globulin. It's just a quick little vaccination, and in fact can count as their first of the series of 3. We also will do a pregnancy test in order to give emergency contraception. We have to verify that they're not currently pregnant. And we'll also do a syphilis IgG. Syphilis was essentially, especially in Snohomish County, almost to negative. And we're starting to see a resurgence in syphilis in the Washington, especially the migratory populations in syphilis. We're going to treat any particular acute injuries, and we've talked about broken arms and splints and strains and things like that. We're going to do a self-harm assessment. We're going to, are you suicidal? Yeah, I really feel like I just, why bother? And then you're going to need to be moving to whatever the mental health system is at that hospital. And some of them are very good and some of them are non-existent. So again, what is the protocol if you need some sort of suicide or harm assessment? Again, know what your agency and the emergency department does. We may or may not give them prophylactic HIV. That's another area where everybody assumes they can come in and get prophylactic HIV, and crime victims will